The moon is in the rearview mirror, and the Artemis II crew is on their way home. Moments ago, astronauts reestablished contact with NASA Mission Control in Houston. For a tense 40 minutes, there was no communication at all with the lunar capsule as it rounded the far side, the dark side of the moon. It was during that blackout that the crew reached its farthest distance from Earth ever, nearly 253,000 miles, further than any human in history has traveled into space, beating the record set by the Apollo 13 crew half a century ago. The Artemis crew marked the moment with a nod to the future crew that will follow them.
Importantly, choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
And some more firsts on the far side of the moon. As they saw previously hidden parts of the moon, they spotted new craters and radioed Mission Control to suggest names for those craters. One they called Integrity, the name of their lunar capsule. For the other, they chose a name that is deeply personal.
A number of years ago, we started this journey in our close-knit astronaut family, and we lost a loved one. And there's a feature in a really neat place on the moon. It's a bright spot on the moon. And we would like to call it Carol. And you spell that C-A-R-R-O-L-L.
You can hear the emotion in astronaut Jeremy Hansen's voice. Carol is the late wife of the Artemis mission commander, Reed Wiseman. And Carol meant a lot to all of this close-knit crew, but of course, especially her husband. Right now, we expect the crew to be wrapping up their photography mission in the next couple of hours, and then they'll begin beaming back the high-resolution images. If the pictures from the Apollo missions were stunning more than 50 years ago, just imagine the images we're soon going to get. They could be downright jaw-dropping. One of the astronauts described the sight earlier, a perspective we're all used to, now turned upside down.
The moon is about 3 to 4 times the size of the Earth, and it is almost full, and the Earth is just a small crescent out there. Such a majestic view out here.
Even as the crew wraps up their mission objectives, and even after coming through that communications blackout without a hitch, the crew hardly gets to relax for a leisurely ride home, because the ride home is a part of the most dangerous and dramatic moments to come. The white-knuckle ride during reentry to Earth's atmosphere at about 25,000 miles per hour. Their capsule is in the center of a 5,000-degree fireball. How's that all for a grand finale to the mission? Joining me now are former NASA astronauts Mike Fossum, also former Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield. Both of you know what it's like to come back to Earth after a mission like this. First, I got to ask you, Chris, they broke a record out there set by Apollo 13 in 1970. They've gone further than any human beings have ever gone before. This has been, just in the last hour, an extraordinary mission.
I agree with you, Elizabeth. Imagine the sight that has been filling their eyes. During those 40 minutes, they weren't talking to Earth, but for the couple hours on either side. This is what they've been dreaming about, what they've been working towards, what we've been dreaming about as a species for thousands and thousands of years. And they're up there now, not with film cameras, but with the latest of digital photography,
right,
to be able to record it in a way that we've never seen before. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm waiting to see those pictures back, but also my heart's just where with the 4 of them. What an amazing human experience.
Mike, I'm curious, what is that like to go back behind the dark side of the moon and lose all contact with Earth? It's planned, everybody knows it's going to happen. Is it a moment of anxiety, or is it, by the way, we're looking at the NASA, now we're back to Earth, we were looking at some NASA commentators. Right. Is it nerve-wracking? Is it a relief to not have somebody monitoring every moment of your existence? Because everything is monitored. NASA Mission Control is watching all of their physical symptoms, monitoring everything. Tell me what you think that's like for them.
What I think it's like is, number one, is they trust the ground. The ground has excellent, ability to see and even control parts of their spacecraft. And so, losing that little link, I mean, that's how the crew sleeps at night. mission control's got the watch, right? So they sleep soundly during those times. During the blackout period, they know that they're always paying attention to alarms or anything, so they're aware of that. But I think the bigger thing is the fact that all of a sudden they're not on camera, they're not expected to be continually talking, and they get just a few minutes to appreciate this incredible journey and the view. And I'm jealous to see the moon, not just close to the surface, but the moon as a ball, with the Earth as a ball back behind it.
Yeah.
Is a stunning thing, and they're just soaking it all in.
Yeah, to that point, Mike, pilot Victor Glover said he was actually having trouble with his eyes, that the stark contrast, they turned all the lights off inside Orion at some point, but he said the moon was so bright that, and at microgravity, your eyes are working a little bit differently, that he was having a little bit of trouble seeing some parts of the moon. And by the way, these are parts of the moon, it's not just better cameras we're taking pictures of them. These are parts of the moon no human being has seen before.
Well, during the Apollo days, they did orbit the moon, and the spacecraft commander that stayed on orbit got to see the far side of the moon like that. They're seeing it from a unique perspective, being so far away, and really listening to the discussion earlier with, I think it was Victor talking about the Terminator. That's that line between the illuminated and the dark part of the moon, and that the sun's low grazing angle brings out a lot of details that you could see about the craters and central uplift in the craters that you can actually see from your backyard with a good set of binoculars. You can get some kind of idea and to imagine what it's like to be there so close with no atmosphere and dust between you and the surface. It's just stunning to imagine.
They're also, Chris, noticing some big changes in the Earth's surface from the South Pole to the North Pole, big changes in topography. Some parts are very, very mountainous, more than I think maybe they expected. This is all crucial and critical information because the next mission, they're going to land on the moon, and they're trying to pick a landing site where they'll eventually build a base.
Yeah, they're super interested in the moon's surface, as you mentioned. And yeah, 2 flights from now. They're going to do one more flight around the Earth to check all the docking and all the machinery works right. And then we're going to launch to land and on the moon. And you want to land somewhere, if possible, where it's nice and flat. So that's really critical. And what Vic was talking about, when you look across the angle with the sun, then you can pick out all of the vertical relief, the shadows and the cliffs and the rugged land. They need a flat spot. They also want to land near where the water is, because the craters at the South Pole, by our best guess, there's 100 billion gallons of water frozen into the craters of the poles. And they want to land where there's always sunlight. So yeah, that's where they're targeting, the South Pole. There's some flat spots to land, there's water, and there's power. We'll send a bunch of robots first, but sooner than everybody imagines, I think, we're going to have one of these subsequent crews doing even more what these 4 folks are doing, and that is taking that vehicle and a lander and putting human footprints on the moon again for the first time since '72.
There was a very moving moment. We played it just now in the intro to the 2 of you, when the crew named one of the brand new craters they were seeing on the moon Carroll, after Mission Commander Reed Wiseman's wife, who died of cancer in 2020. Wiseman, you could hear the emotion in Victor Glover's voice. Wiseman could be seen wiping tears away from his eyes as the crew embraced. That was quite something.
It was spectacular. When I was commanding the space station, I know Mike has as well, one of my crew members' mother passed away. And what do you do as another crew member when there's something that sad and that significant, and you can't, be there, and you're in such an unusual position? So you try and almost as if you were close family, 100% support that person. I thought it was lovely that they made the decision to name that new bright little spot on the moon after Reed's wife, Carol. And the way they handled it, it both broke my heart and just filled me with joy, the way they everybody should take 1 minute today and just watch that little clip. It is such great insight into what it's like to be an explorer on the edge of the human experience and still just be a person.
Yeah. I got to ask you guys, are each of you having a little bit of FOMO watching what this crew is doing? Like, how much are you wishing you were up there and doing this? Mike, you start.
100%, absolutely. And that piece today, I was with Carol and the girls during Reed's last launch on the Soyuz in Kazakhstan, so I got to know him during that time. So, but seeing the emotions with the crew up there, actually during that time, I just wanted to hug all of them because I love these guys. And yeah, Chris and I, of course, every one of us would love to be on this mission. There's no doubt about it, even if we've gone on to other missions in life and callings.
Yeah, the astronaut community is a small and tight-knit community. Yeah. Most of the community knew Carol well, and I'm sure that's why that was such an emotional experience today when they named that bright spot, that crater, after Carol. Mike Fossum, Chris Hadfield, author of the best-selling novel Final Orbit. Thank you both so much. Really, really appreciate you joining us on this Artemis II adventure today.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.